Hello, Red Knight students, and welcome to Handtack Tours. Giving you a little night tour of my classroom, room 201 tonight. It is nice and quiet in the building and perfect for a virtual tour. As we approach room 201, maybe one of the first things you notice is right up in those windows, you'll see the pennants. We have the Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Bucks, the Milwaukee Wave, of course. I am a soccer player and fan. The St. Louis Blues, 2019 Stanley Cup champions. The St. Louis Cardinals, of course, and then my alma mater, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. I put those pennants up to kind of show the places that I love, not just my hometown in St. Louis, Missouri, but also my new home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. As you approach the room, you'll also notice that my daily schedule, my regular schedule, is up on the wall in black. So feel free to take a look at that just to know when you can approach me for help and also know where I'm at any given point in the day as we're teaching. You can also see just right under my name and room number, you can see what I'm currently reading. I just finished The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and now just recently moved on to The Two Towers. The first part of Milwaukee Lutheran High School's mission statement is Share Jesus, along with Shape Lives and Develop Leaders. Two of the things you'll notice as soon as you walk in through the door, just a couple of pieces that are there for your spiritual development. For one, I left up my bulletin board from last year with last year's theme, Do You Know the Answer? Mostly because I think these questions are still really relevant for so many students getting back into high school after COVID. What I want to note for all of these very good questions that not just a lot of teenagers but also adults ask is that each of these are flippable along with some answers below. So for instance, if I'm feeling really unloved, maybe I'm going through a rough patch in my life and I just want to know, am I loved? I can go ahead and flip this card, and there's the answer right there. I'm loved by God. God shows his love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. I'm also loved by my brothers and sisters in Christ. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, that's Christ's disciples, if you have love for one another. If you ever feel like you are really looking for an answer for any of these questions, feel free to flip through those just on your own time. I'm always open for questions on those as well. We also have our prayer board right up here in the front as well. This one is this year's spiritual theme for the school, Here I Am, Lord. We're going to try to keep our prayers as mission-focused as possible this year. So no matter which class you're in for me, you'll have the opportunity to pray not just for what's going on in our school, but also what's going on in our city of Milwaukee, our nation, and also in the entire world as well. It's a way for us to say to God, here I am, here's what we're praying for, and we want to know what we can do about these things as well. I should also note in this corner, we also have my closet. It is guarded by a knight. I put that up as a joke a few years ago, but in all seriousness, I really only use that closet for some of my personal belongings, so please stay out. As I mentioned in class these first couple of days, our daily agenda will be posted up on the screen. I actually put Friday, August 27th up there for Applied English. As a reminder, just the way to read the agenda, the two items that are directly above that first dotted line are for students to do as soon as they come in. Let me see if I can zoom back on this a little bit. Always read the objective as you come into class. Our objective has been the same all week, but then also some sort of activity to do as you start class. For my freshmen, that activity will vary a little bit every day. If you're in writing workshop with me, it will pretty much be a journal entry every day so we can sharpen our writing skills day by day. Between the two dotted lines are activities I'll lead you through. So in class earlier, we had a discussion about just our syllabus and expectations for the class in Applied English, and we hopefully had some Q&A time as well. I'll be putting homework and reminders, assignments, due dates at the bottom of the agenda each day. Obviously for today, you are watching this room 201 tour video. As we continue to look at resources, I want to note that this little cabinet system right here is for writing workshop. I need to relabel it actually, but that'll be a space where you can keep your journals for me in class so I never have to leave the classroom. This is my old computer cart, but it is getting replaced within this next week here as well. So we do have Chromebook access in this classroom, unless another teacher nearby is borrowing them for the hour. Applied English, you will not be using the Chromebooks as much this semester. Next semester uses them a lot more. However, writing workshop, you'll be using them on a pretty regular basis. Some other resources at your disposal are on the front end of my desk. So you notice these little black mailboxes here are a space for each hour. To hand in any sort of paper assignments we do, they just go by hour. So first, second, third, and fourth on the left-hand side here. I keep my discipline forms right down there. I hope not to use too many of those. Fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, and then anything that ends up without a name will end up on the right-hand side. And there's also just some supplies at your disposal there too. Extra pencils and pens, tape, staplers, scissors. I usually keep half sheets of paper in there too. I have a 3-hole punch and some art supplies and some disinfecting wipes here as well. Again, those are all for you. Pretty much everything behind my desk is mine. As you can tell, I'm not the tidiest person on earth. There is a method to my madness, but for the most part, you will not need to be back here at all. You should know this purple mailbox is where I keep extra materials for my classes. So if you miss school one day and would like a paper copy of something you missed, please let me know, and I will pull that out of my extras bin in this purple mailbox. I should also note, just back here up on the whiteboard and the wall, my contact information is there on the whiteboard. So I put my name, email address, and YouTube channel. I'm sure some of you are watching this video on the Mr. Handtech MLHS channel. All I can say there is like, comment, subscribe. There's kind of a landing spot for student artwork and some of the trinkets that I've acquired over these last couple of years there as well. If you're an artist and want to see that featured, draw me something, paint me something, create me some art. Hopefully it ends up on this bulletin board. The majority of room 201 is student desk space, as you can tell. So we'll take a little stroll through the teaching aisle in the center right here. As we take a look at desk space, you'll notice that there are 5 columns of 3, I should say, on each side. It makes a total of 30 desks around the classroom. And they're separated by Mr. Handtech's teaching aisle right in the center. I do like to walk around quite a bit as I'm teaching, so this aisle helps me to reach as many students as possible. You'll notice these blue tape lines on the floor as well. Those are for the sake of lining up desks. We'll also use them as yard lines in review game football, which I'm really excited to do once again this year. Behind all the rows of desks, you'll notice there's the window wall. For the most part, I keep the shades down. There is a parking lot right there, so it gets a little bit distracting when we're in class. The opposite side is our decorative pride and joy in our book banner. These are all just a variety of book covers that my wife and I have printed off, put on construction paper, and laminated. They are a mix of books that I enjoy. They're a mix of book covers that I think are really cool. They're a mix of books that I teach or have taught in the past. Applied English for you guys specifically. We'll cover Amazing Spider-Man. We'll do Ultimate Spider-Man later this year. What else is there? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is Applied English. House on Mango Street is also Applied English. I've also taught some of these texts in English 1, some in English 2, and some in AP Literature in the past before as well. Again, as far as the columns of 3 desks go, whenever you get placed in a new column of 3 desks, the other people who are within your row with you will be your group members for that unit. Right now, you're just assembled alphabetical by first name, so I can learn all of your names and faces. And this final wall in room 201 is where a lot of the learning happens. We'll take a look at the whiteboard first, and then we'll look at some bookshelves from there. So you'll notice there's a large whiteboard across this wall of the classroom. That nice big blank space in the center is used for teaching. I'll use that quite a bit for instruction, note-taking, any sort of discussions that we have where we want to keep track of what people are saying is going to go up there on that back whiteboard. But you'll also notice it's been divided into a few sections as well. We do have a sample MLA heading up top. That's the student name, then my name, the course, I chose Writing Workshop, and then the date, 25th August 2021 was the first day of school. That'll be the heading we use to start off any sort of written work like essays or in-class paragraphs. And then also our reminder boards, Applied English up top, Writing Workshop below. Right now your reminders are all the same. Have your supplies ready for Monday and watch this tour video that you're watching right now. The other section of the back whiteboard is where I've just put some basic class expectations, and I've tried to frame them using the school's core values: biblical truth, relationships, communication, growth, and love. These are just some basic expectations that I would say, as long as we're following these well as entire classes, we're solving 95% of the issues that happen in classrooms that distract people from their learning. So for biblical truth, a big focus that I want to see in here is keeping our language wholesome and God-honoring, not just avoiding curse words, but also thinking about what we say to other people and how we treat other people. Relationships is just RESPECT, respect other people's ideas, belongings, and space. So not just how we treat one another with their ideas in class, but also respecting their space, respecting their stuff. Let's make sure that we are keeping our hands to ourselves. Communication is the one mic rule. It's a kind of a fancy way of saying hand raising, please. Whenever someone's speaking, I do expect that everyone else is listening, unless obviously we're doing group work and you need to talk with your column. Some of the time I'll be the one holding the mic. Obviously you're listening to me, but we'll also pass that mic around in discussion. Growth, stay on task in class. I very much believe that if you are applying yourself in class, you are learning. I think you'll find that my grade books are rather rewarding when it comes to that too. A lot of our learning has to do with what we do in class, but that's also practice for the bigger things like tests and presentations and essays. And then for love, I know this sounds kind of silly, but keep desks and computers clean. One great way that you can love me and make my job a million times easier is to take care of this space well, so it's the best possible environment to teach in. It's a way to show love to me as your teacher, but also your classmates, in creating a good space for them to learn. As we also talk about spiritual focus, we do have my Making All Things New, Revelation 21 poster right here. We'll talk about this more in depth during our class devotional in this upcoming Wednesday, Thursday. Also on the same wall are bookshelves right here. We also have this black book return bin right here. So you are allowed to borrow books from me, and once you're done, return them there so I can get them properly sorted. I do want to walk you through just kind of how these books are divided up here as well. Some of my oldest texts are here on the far right-hand side. So here's where I've placed any sort of text on mythology. I've also put my small collection of poetry books, graphic novels, and plays all on this far right-hand side. As you move towards the center right there, we do have a small set of dictionaries. I think there's 14 or 15 in there. We will have to share them this semester, but those are there for your use as well. Small stack of Christian nonfiction right there next to the dictionaries. At the bottom, we have other nonfiction. There's a lot of World War II stuff down there, some biographies, and then I've also put some mythology text right there in the center as well. As we move our way left, here's where we find a lot of classic British and American literature. It looks like I put Brit Lit up top. There's some World Lit in there as well. Working its way down to American literature towards the bottom. And the very bottom, there's also a small stack of science fiction down there as well. Once again, all these books you can check out from me. Just let me know what you're borrowing. You can return it to the black book return bin. On the far side of the wall, there's the tall bookshelf, which has more books that are there for you. A few of these are fun books that stay in the classroom, like P is for Pterodactyl and No Reading Aloud. But a lot of these books are ones that you can borrow. There's a lot of young adult fiction over here, series fiction, the entire Chronicles of Narnia is there. All of the Hunger Games books are there, some other pieces of series fiction, and all of my Michael Crichton books are there as well. He is one of my favorite authors. There's also some really cool German stuff just at the top of, on the top of this bookshelf. I know I'm not a German teacher, but I did manage to find some cool German stuff laying around the school, along with Admiral's fan Martin Luther there too. Well, really the last thing to show off on this wall is the writing process poster. This is huge for writing workshop, but you'll notice that there is a reminder of how writing works up here on the wall. I'm not the biggest fan of posters in the classroom, but I love this one. We'll talk about this one in depth in writing workshop really early on this semester. We'll take a look at this a little later on for Applied English. Barry the Bee and I certainly hope that you enjoyed your time with Handtech Tours today. I hope you learned a lot about the resources in Room 201 that are there to help you as you continue study of English, especially as we hit the ground running in class next Monday. Peace.